This is a different kind of slack. This is the Janet Yellen kind of slack. Slack workers. I don't have to tell anybody out there that they aren't getting much of a raise these days. And this is an important new study that maybe suggests why, and it has implications for the Fed. Let's go back 40 years, and I'll show you what's happened. In about the 80s, you see this big decline, the yellow line, in the average hourly wage, the increase in wages. It goes way down. At the same time, the participation rate, that's the white line, is going up. What happened? Women were moving into the workforce, and that put downward pressure on wages because there were more workers available. Then look what's happened in recent years. The participation rate, we've talked about this a lot, has gone down, and people are not getting raises. That other line not going up. Well, Danny Blanchflower and Adam Posen have looked at this, and they've looked at the reasons why people think maybe this is happening, and they find they aren't true. I mean, some of the reasons are women leaving the workforce to have children, people retiring, the baby boomers, or the skills mismatch. None of that seems to make sense. The previous graph showed that those aren't falling. So what do they think? They think that this is a large pool of unemployed people who are out there available to come back into the labor force, and employers know that. And so they're not giving you a raise because they think we still have a lot of people we can call on, so we don't need to give you a raise. Now, this is important for the Fed because what Posen and Blanchflower are saying is instead of focusing on the unemployment rate, watch wages. If wages start to rise, then maybe you have an inflation problem down the road and you can think about raising interest rates. But until they go up, we don't need to do that.
Is it true that we don't really know how many of those workers are out there, or potential workers are out there?
Well, we know how many people are in the long-term unemployed, and it raises a very interesting question because the number of people who are unemployed for a short period of time is going down, and those that are unemployed for a long period are not. And that's another paper. Alan Krueger, the former Treasury Department economist, looked at this with a couple of colleagues at Princeton, and they found it's the long-term unemployment rate that is really driving this decline in wages. Okay. Short-term workers are getting raises, and they're spending much less time on the unemployment rolls. But the long-term, these days, aren't able to come back into the labor force. And that is something that we haven't seen before. Janet Yellen was asked about this in her speech last week. She said she's not sure if it's true or not because long-term unemployed have always come back in the past, and that would validate the Blanchflower-Posen work. But if Krueger is right, then maybe wages don't rise because that pool of workers, that slacker economy, isn't really out there. Those people are not going to be coming back into the